So, Steve, it's great to be back to winning ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Feels like a little while since we had a win. It didn't come easy. We had to fight hard for it, but yeah, I'm pleased.
Especially given when you look at that lineup, and there's clearly some problems for you in terms of selection.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of injury problems. Joffy has had a hip flexor problem for a couple of weeks now. Jack Gallagher, unfortunately, has been struggling with a hamstring, which went against Rusthall, so expecting to not see him for a while. Matt Black's called time on the season, I think, just because of the amount of trouble he's had with his hamstring. And Tommy, yes, like hamstring. I think we need to buy a set of new hamstrings for everyone. Tom's obviously been struggling with his hamstring, and on top of that, Michael done his thigh against Rusthall. So, and that's just off the top of my head. There's probably a couple more.
Yeah, right. Did you say mention Ryan Coultris?
Ryan Coultris is not injured. He's just got some personal stuff going on, which just means he wants to just have a little bit of a step back. And life's more important. But yeah, again, another miss from the 16, 100%. Yeah,
because when you look at that and think, it might be a bit of a troubled game, but I mean, we started really well. The first 20 minutes or so, it was almost, I hate to say this, but I think you've mentioned, almost too easy. It was like, crikey, we're doing this quite well. Got lots of possession, moving it around well.
Yeah.
And a great start.
We obviously haven't played Stansted yet, and didn't have too much information on them, but I just felt, because of their situation and putting myself in their shoes, I felt they probably would concentrate on being compact and being hard to break down, and as a result of that, we changed our shape, and we kind of knew we'd probably have the ball quite a lot from the goalkeeper, and that's how it was. I felt like they were letting us have a lot of the ball. They were letting our centre halves have the ball, and it was just a question of whether we could break them down. I felt we had enough opportunities where we managed to get it wide and get it into the box, but we didn't have anyone there to get the final touch, and it was almost like we just got a bit sloppy, started losing concentration as a result of that.
Yeah, because that's the strange thing. I mean, it's another game where we start really well and then fade. It's like we're playing in spells.
Yeah, that's fair. We're definitely. I mean, look, no one's got any right to be dominant for 90 minutes, and you've obviously got to expect you're going to have to ride out a little bit of a storm from any opposition. Stansted are at home. I think if they looked at their fixtures and looked at us, they'd probably be thinking this is a game we can get something from. They've drawn with Sutton, they've drawn with Corinthian, they've drawn with Hive, and they've only lost to Whitstable in stoppage time in 4 of their last 5 games. So, I think it'd be naive to take them for granted. But yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't think up until the point they scored, they'd really shown a lot of attacking intent, which is funny because I think the last 2 games they'd scored in like the first 3 or 4 minutes.
Because that's the thing, it wasn't that they suddenly started playing much better than us. It was almost like we just stopped playing as well.
Yeah, we kind of looked like rat.
And I don't mean that disrespectful, but it was more like it was down to us than it was down to them in the first half.
Yeah, I can understand your point. I think we relatively easily worked it into their half of the pitch, and then a combination of our quality, our decision making, or actually our commitment to getting on the end of things. I mean, we had, off the top of my head, 4 or 5 dangerous balls going into their box from open play.
Yeah.
There was then at least 2 or 3 corners that looked like they were crying out. And I think had we been able to break the deadlock at that moment, it would have. Actually, I don't know with us. Would that have made any flipping difference? I really don't know.
But I totally get that point, because the number of times we were saying was like, somebody just gamble, knowing the ball will be there, and you'll arrive on it. But nobody was. It was like everybody was watching everybody else as the ball came across. Because our build-up play was great. You had Tommy bringing it up really well from defence. Chris was having a good game in the middle, moving it. You had Sean with loads of room when we started.
Yeah.
And then it's just like I say, it just wasn't happening.
No, it was probably just the final product. I mean, all of the boys that we had in that sort of attacking unit have scored goals for us in recent times. but I don't think, with the greatest respect intended, any of them would really sort of be considered to be that classic sort of poacher. So maybe that's what was lacking. I don't know. Ultimately, goals change games, and we weren't able to get one. And then you know, to be fair, I think pretty much with, I don't know if the huddle didn't record. Unfortunately, it broke at Rust Hall. So I had the chance to watch it back, but to my recollection, their goal was one of the first sort of real sights they had at their goal.
Yeah, I think I was in about 40. I think it was 41 or 42 when they scored.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And it's like I said, it was one of the first attacks.
Yeah. So really, again, you know, that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? You know, you got to be ruthless in both boxes, and in the first half we weren't in either. So
what do you do at half time though? What do you say to them to turn it around?
To be honest, I just reinforced some of the points that I'd said before the game. We knew we had to play the ball fast. We knew we had to try and play around them. And then we knew as and when the ball went in the box, people had to have commitment and people had to get themselves on the end of things. We had changed the front three, which we did after the goal. We moved Reece out to the left. We played Reg through the middle. You know, I mean, you know, over the last 2 or 3 years, Reg has probably been our most reliable goal scorer, aside from Trev. And put Demando onto his probably more natural right-hand side.
And that worked. Came out second half, and I don't think we've ever scored so quick from kick-off.
No, I think, to be honest, the main thing that I did before the game, because we you know, we're well aware that we're going through these sort of spells in games where we're losing concentration, and we've got to be more consistent than that. And you know, I think in the change room before the game, I just said, like, you know, Bentz has played 2 levels above this consistently. He's also played in the league above this consistently. You look right through the spine of our team. Tommy played 2 divisions above this, comfortably played a division above this. Chris, Rory have both won this league. Reece has won this league. Regan has got promotion on his CV. Like, there's a lot of experience and know-how. And I just said, like, none of the teams that you've been in that have done those things would have done it by switching off for 20.
Yeah.
You know, that was before the game. At half time, it's like, well, look, come on then. This is now where we're going to need some of you boys to actually step up and take the game by the scruff of the neck.
Like I say, they did, because Red scored straight away.
Yeah.
And then we think it was more scored.
Yeah,
virtually straight after that.
I think Demando and Deshaun have both
have
both been in the conversation, but for me, I think Mo.
Well, the thing to see for us was Mo was everybody was hugging Mo after he scored, which sort of tells you what.
That's normally a good sign, yeah.
But it was a great response to what you needed.
Well, yeah, much like Beersted.
Yeah.
We're coming 1-0 down, we find ourselves 2-1 up. Exactly like Beersted. We then let the opposition back in. The plus point this time was that there was still time for us to do something about it after we allowed them to equalise, and thankfully Chris has stepped up. His dead ball delivery's been great. Only he'll be able to tell us, and I haven't asked him whether he meant to put that in or whether he's just putting it in a good area.
Yeah.
But either way, I think from dead ball, we looked to threat all day. I think we looked to threat all day against Rust Hall.
Our corners were
threat
much
all day
better,
against Beersted as well. Yeah, so there's some positive stuff in there. We're scoring, that's 8 goals in 3 games. It's just unfortunate we're letting as many in. So yeah, obviously clear where the improvement needs to be.
But again, it was another one where we started cracking and then start to fade again. Yeah. But luckily,
I mean, you have to, you also have to put some respect on the opposition. Yeah. Because to be fair to them, I felt when we went 2-1 up, they rolled the dice. They brought on some subs. They committed a bit more. They come out of their shell and they had a go at us. And you know, they had Glenn Bain, I think, the number 10 on the right, who has got a lot of pace and cutting edge. You know, Macy Mannion at 9 is a physical threat and a handful. I thought their midfield physically had the better of our midfield, to be completely truthful. And if I'm honest, I thought there was a spell of about 10 minutes where they looked like they might go in front.
It was at 2-2, we're thinking we're hanging on here.
Yeah, Bentz has made a couple of good saves, hasn't he?
Chris turns up for it. Bentz has kept us in it,
Some last gasp defending. It wasn't good organised defending, but it was last ditch, people throwing their bodies in the way. And you know, we did show a little bit of fight, which is what we've been asking.
It's interesting you mentioned Bentz, because he's had a little bit of criticism the last couple of games, and he responded, I thought, on Saturday, and had a really good game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's been in terms of inside the camp, there's been constructive criticism. You know, we look at everything. Obviously, we haven't got a chance to look at that game because the huddle didn't work. But we review everything, and I think some of the goals we've conceded aren't on Bence at all. I think 3 of the ones against Rust Hall, it was a defence. We might as well start 4 mannequins out there, to be completely honest. But there have been moments in the last 4 or 5 games where I think Bence's decision making has to be called into question, and he's accepted that. He's took it on the chin, and I think Saturday was as good a game as he's had since before he got sent off.
The second half when they were coming up the hill, he kept us in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't dispute that. Yeah, he's done what he should do, which is save some balls. But yeah, it's good for him. I don't think he's not only the fact that he's made a couple of good saves, but I don't think he's really put a foot wrong all game. The second goal, a bit questionable. He felt he had 2 hands on it, and they've kicked it out his hands. I don't know, and again I can't review it, but yeah, good for him because he's a good goalkeeper. He was with me at Horsham in step 3, first choice, and he played about 20-30 games. So he's also played for Faversham in step 4. He ain't no much.
Until the last few games, I know we shouldn't talk about one player, but other than the last few games, he's had a really good season.
100%. I think he's sending off, which was against Bearsted in the home game? I think it was. But either way, the sending off knocked his momentum because he was actually playing really well up until that point. He had a 3-game ban, which because of postponements probably got dragged out to about 5 weeks. And yeah, it's hard to get your rhythm back when you're only training once a week, isn't it? Yeah,
and I suppose not just picking out Bence, but there's quite a few players that had good games, On
Saturday? Yeah, I mean, I'd challenge you to find someone who had a bad game, to be honest. Yeah. But from our point of view, it's just about being consistent from the first whistle to the... You accept the fact the opposition's going to have a spell, but, you've then got to do the basics well. You've got to close gaps, you've got to shut down, you've got to recover. You've got to take good decisions when you turn the ball back over, and we have been the architects of our own downfall too often in the last month. We've allowed sides back in rather than them really gripping a game by the scruff of the neck. Now, I will concede that Rustall for 20 minutes, they were very clinical. Fair play. I think they've had 4 chances to score 4 goals, and they have got good firepower. But when you look at some of our defending, it's criminal, really. But again, Michael and Heinze met each other in the changing room for the first time on that day. Game before that, Tommy and Michael meet each other. In fact, no, they did. That Tommy come training, so they met each other once. Again, we've now gone back to Heinze and Tom on Saturday, who haven't played together since God knows when.
But then again,
and then he has to come off with an injury. So Lou comes on. We're 2-1 when Tom was on the pitch, relatively comfortable. Yeah. So that lack of consistency in such a key area is not necessarily the root cause, but it's endemic of our situation right now. And it's not ideal, that's for sure.
No, but I think you just have to be positive about the game, because when you're looking at the next 4 games coming up, and they're all winnable, but they're all losable, if that makes sense.
I mean, as is any game of football, I guess. But
if we do win, get some more of those, we could be nearly up to almost promotion, the playoffs, which is ridiculous.
And I think most of the teams we're playing will be saying exactly the same flipping thing. So it is such a tough league, and I think, like I said in that little voice note I put on the supporters group, it's the hope that kills you. Like every game you go into it going, we could win this today, and if we do, we'll only be 3 points or whatever it is outside the playoffs. But then you're also thinking, if we lose it, we could fall down another 4 places, and actually, so and so's won today, and they've now leaped through. We're playing Kennington next. I think we're level on points, so there's 1 point in it. We're then playing Blair in and amongst it. All those teams, depending on how that mixes up, it's so hard. But
so hopefully people get behind the team on Saturday.
Be nice, wouldn't it? I mean, like supporters on Saturday were brilliant. I heard you all, makes a big difference. Yeah, so in theory, let's hope the weather's kind, because we've got 3 home games on the spin and 9 points to play for.
Fingers crossed.
Cheers, Will.
Cheers.